Today I am exploring a beautiful bog called Kakerta, and we're gonna talk about what gear actually do you need for landscape photography. Let's go! When I went to sleep yesterday evening, it was pouring rain, there was thunder, it was pouring rain during the night, it was pouring rain during the morning and during the day today, and now it's over. And usually that means you will have clouds. And that gave me the idea to come to one of Estonia's magical bogs and talk about gear, find some cool images, and hopefully don't get soaked in rain. So we'll see how it goes. And just wanted to tell thank you to all my subscribers so far. You are absolutely amazing. And if you are new here, welcome. And if you like the content, subscribe. As I'm walking around the bog right now, I was hoping when I started from home that there would be no wind and I could get these amazing clouds as a reflection on the Bog River or Bog Lake, but no, there's wind. But there's other options because the clouds are cool. Hopefully they will remain that way. And the sun from time to time is peeking out behind the clouds, so we'll see. For me personally, the most important thing as a landscape photographer is this, a tripod. Most people would say it's the camera. I tend to disagree, because without the tripod, landscape photography can be a bit tricky, because you want the images to be as sharp and as detailed as possible most of the time, and from time to time you want to do long exposure, you want to shoot during the sunrise or the sunset or before the sunrise and the sunset, and without a tripod it's impossible. It doesn't really matter what camera you have, but tripod is your best friend. Yay, the sun came out. But in short, owning a tripod for landscape photography opens up a whole new world for you in possibilities that actually what you can do on location. The next question usually is, what kind of tripod do I need for landscape photography? And my honest opinion is, get a heavy one. There's actually a really good reason for that. Usually the big clunky tripods like this one, it's a Wellborn Geo N630. It's a really old tripod, but it has served me well, and they will handle the dust, the seawater, the sand, anything you can throw at them. You can open them up, you can clean them and so on. The small tripods, they are really difficult to clean, and the really cheap ones, the small ones, actually I think you can't clean them. I had one and I tried to clean it after like half a year and I just broke it basically. In short, any tripod goes, but if you're serious, get the proper one. And if you really climb mountains with your camera and stuff like that, then look at the carbon ones and the really light ones. But most of the time for me, even if I had to climb like 600 meters up or more, I have still had this with me, and in the end I'm alive and I got the picture. The second thing is the camera, and do you need like a medium format camera or really expensive DSLR or something like that. No, you don't. You just need a camera. If you're not printing and selling your work or doing some commercial stuff or anything like that, most of the DSLRs will do the work, because usually for landscape photography you don't need the high ISO that most of the more expensive DSLRs can offer, because when you are on a tripod, that's why it's important, you will use the native ISO of the camera anyway, like 90% of the time. There are moments that you need to change that, but most of the time you will be from, let's say, native to, I don't know, 400, 600 ISO. And most cameras out today in 2020 will do the job just perfectly with that ISO range. It's getting really dark now and I can feel raindrops. So I'll try to find shelter soon. I think any camera will do. You can go out taking images with your parents' old 35mm film camera, or you can do it with a DSLR, or you can do it with your iPhone. I think the main thing is go out and do it, because landscape photography can be really, what's the right word, taxing at some points, because most of the time when you go out you won't get the correct light, you won't get the correct weather. It's cold, it can be wet, it can be too warm, there's bugs, you know, a million things can happen when you're out. And just go out and get used to it, and get used to the fact that you will fail a lot, but you will learn from it. And just even if everything goes to then just enjoy the nature, because most of people never come out and just walk for like 4 hours, like 2-3 times a week. Just enjoy the quiet, enjoy the birds, enjoy the wildlife. The third thing you need is something to attach to your camera. If you have an iPhone, it's not a problem. You can just push the button and zoom in or zoom out. But if you have a DSLR or something similar to that, you need a lens or two. Do you need the holy trinity of lenses from 14-24 to 24 to 70 to 70 to 200? No, you don't. For the first 2 years when I started doing landscape photography, I only had a 50mm 1.8 and Nifty 350 from Canon, and my first camera was Canon 60D, I think it was called. It was a cool little camera, it was super light, but the image quality compared to these days, even phones, was pretty bad. A lot of cameras these days come with a kit lens, which have usually a really wide focal range from, let's say, 35 to 140 or something like that. And with that you can do a lot. So with that you have a lot of focal ranges already covered, because 35mm is a wide end already, and that 140mm that's already in the telephoto range of things. So a kit lens is absolutely perfect for the beginner landscape photographer. I think these are the most important things that you need to get started in landscape photography. And after you have been doing landscape photography for a year or two, you inevitably have already some filters, and you have a filter holder, and you have different lenses, maybe just rented, but you will have them. Because if you go this path, you want to evolve, you want to get different images, you want to get new perspective on things, and those luxury things help with that. I think in future episodes I will talk a bit more about my gear and what I use for landscape photography, and actually why I use it and why I love the gear that I have. So I'm gear-wise pretty minimalist. I don't want to drag along a lot of stuff because I love hiking, and the difference between plus or minus 3 kilos on your backpack is major when you're walking around for 4 hours, 5 hours, something like that. So it's bad. I was hoping for a bit more clear sky and some light from here and there, but there's absolutely nothing. Everything is grayish blue, and there's no contrast on the ground or foreground, and there's no color in the clouds or anywhere at the moment. So I'm not too hopeful for today. Maybe something will change in the next 30 minutes or so, but you know, it is what it is. If I would count every time I went out for the last 10 years, I'm guessing 6 times out of 10 I go home without an image, but I go home with in good spirits. I have had a walk, I have had time in the nature, so it's all good in the end. So just as I was packing up, I found a glimmer of hope. The sky opened up a bit, and I have a really massive cloud in the middle of the frame and some foreground interest also. So I'll try to take the image. I'm at f11, the ISO is 64, and I'm at half a second. So no filters, no anything else. Let's see what happens. But thank you for watching. If you like the content, subscribe. If you love the content, subscribe, share, and hit the bell icon. And see you next time.